All right, today's lesson is going to talk about what's called piecewise functions. So, just to give you a little bit of a definition of what we're doing here, it means that you have a problem that's essentially broken into piecewise, hence the name piecewise function. So, basically, it's like a two-in-one kind of problem. I could have you do three problems in one, etc. So, you're going to be graphing like multiple sections of lines on the same coordinate plane. And there's a series of steps that helps you kind of stay on track when you're doing this. It can be a bit tricky to do. The first thing you're going to do is just graph your function. All right, so whatever is there, you're just going to graph it like normal. Now, if you see this, x is less than, that means we only want a portion of the graph to show. So normally, like if you think of a line, they're really long, right? Well, we only want a portion of this to be showing, and that's what we're going to communicate to you. So if you see the less than symbol, that means that we only want to keep the left side. If you see the greater than, that means we only want to keep the right side of whatever we drew. Anything else we're going to get rid of. So what we're going to do is actually use some colored pencils. So this would be a good time if you don't have one. You would want to get a colored pencil just to kind of help follow along with this. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to trace over the sections that we're supposed to keep, and then anything that's not colored we're going to erase. We'll try to do it that way and see how that goes. So this is kind of how it's going to be presented. They're going to have like the f of x, remember that's the same thing as y. Then they're going to have an equal sign like normal. And then because there's more than one line here, each of these represents a line, they're going to use a brace. That just means like here's all of the stuff that I want you to graph. So it's just a notation. This is the section we're going to keep for the first line, and that's the section for the second. So our game plan is we're going to graph x plus 1 first. We're going to keep the section that's to the left of 2. Remember, less means left of when you're talking about x's. And then the same idea for the second one. We're going to graph the second line, but we're going to keep the section to the right of 3. Okay, so this is where you just pick up your pencil. Right? You're going to go ahead and graph x plus 1. We start at 1. And actually, let me change my ink color here to black. Okay, so we have 1. We go up 1, over 1, and then we keep on doing that. And you want to put as many dots as possible on your graph. You want it to be as nice and neat as possible. Sometimes if you draw them a little sloppy, it can mess up how your answer looks and actually trick you. Right? And then we're just going to connect them, just like that. I do the best I can here. Okay, and don't forget lines have arrows, so I'm going to put my arrows here. Now this is where you pick up your colored pencil. So again, if you don't have one, you may want to get one to help you kind of keep everything nice and organized. We are going to trace over the section that's less than 2. So a lot of kids are really confused on what does that mean. You're going to go to 2 on the x-axis. You're just going to go up until you find your line. Right? Now, you see how this is not underlined? That means we want an open dot at 2. So you want to draw an open dot, and you just want to trace to the left of that. So you want to head towards the left. Okay. Now anything that is not colored in, right, you see how this section's just black, there's no red, that would need erased. So that's when you take your eraser, you just get rid of that. So only the red section should be remaining. That is your first graph. Now we're going to graph the second one, the negative 2x plus 3. So again, I'm going to graph this first in black. We're going to go up to 3, and then we're going to go down 2 and right 1. And we'll do it again, and you're just going to keep doing that until you get all the way to the bottom. And then again, we're going to go ahead and connect them. The nice neat line. And then that's when I want to pick up my colored pencil. Now it's time to, I'm going to have to do some erasing. So what are we keeping? We want to keep anything to the right of 3. So I'm going to go over to 3, And I'm just going to go down until I hit the line I just drew. And if I look, it's not underlined. Underline means we have to draw an open circle right here, not a closed one. But this time I go to the right of 3. I want to keep the stuff on the right, so that's the section I'm going to shade. Now I'm going to pick up my eraser and get rid of this leftover black stuff. I don't need any of that. And that's what the graph of your piecewise function looks like. So we have a portion of the first line and a portion of the second line. This tells you what portions you're supposed to keep. So we'll go ahead and do 2 more of those just to kind of help you get a little used to that. I know that that's a lot involved in that process. All right, so let's go ahead and graph your first line. Go up to 2. Oops, I'm going to change colors again. I like to graph in black to start out. I'm going to go up to 2, and we're going to go up 1, right 3. Up 1, right 3. And same way this way. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to connect those and make a nice pretty line. And now you have to be disciplined enough to realize a part of that line is going to go away. So right here, I need to look for -1. So you want to pick up your colored pencil. You want to go to -1 on the x-axis, which is right here. And it looks like we're going to have to go up to hit our line. And this time we're going to put a solid dot. You notice we're doing a solid dot this time because it's underlined. Now because it's pointing towards the left, it's the lesson symbol, I want to shade the left side. So I'm just going to shade over that portion of the line. That means I need to pick up my pencil and erase the rest of my line. So none of this stuff is going to be here anymore. Okay, and then we're going to do our next line. So -x, that would mean I start at 0, and I go down 1, right 1, and I just keep doing that. And you have this nice, beautiful diagonal line. You connect them. Okay, so we took care of the line. Now we take care of the restriction. I need to go to 4, so pick up my colored pencil. I need to go over to 4, and it looks like I'll have to head downwards to meet my line. And we're going to do an open circle. Open. And I want to go to the right, so I'm going to shade the right half of my line. And then I pick up my pencil again, and I erase the left side. Just like that. Let's do it again. Let me switch back to black ink. All right, we're going to graph 1x, so we start at 0, and we go up 1 over 1, and then we connect and make a nice pretty line. I go down here and do the same thing. All right, then I'm going to switch to my colored pencil. I need to go put an open dot at 2, so go over to 2 and put an open dot on your line, and I want to shade the left side. Just like that. And now we're going to erase the stuff that did not get colored. I'll put my dot back here. There we go. There's your line. All right, and we're going to do it again. So pick up your pencil. This time we're going to graph -12x plus 2. So we're going to go up to 2. We go down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2, and so on. And same thing, you want to keep the pattern going. Up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2. Draw your line. Okay. Now, once you take a look at your x values, what are you supposed to keep? You're supposed to keep from 2 and to the right. So you want to go over to 2, you go up to the line you just drew, but this time it's a solid dot because that is underlined. And we want to keep the section to the right, so trace over the section to the right. And then we're going to erase all of the leftover that never got colored in. Oops. Okay. And that's what your final graph is going to look like. Right, so that's how you go about handling a piecewise function. Now, some problems don't just have 2 lines. Some of them have 3, some have 4, and some have pictures that aren't lines at all. So this is just to get you used to the idea of graphing the picture, but then you have to like cut some of it off. And how do you do that? So that's what we're practicing on this. So in our next video, we'll go ahead through 2 more piecewise functions, but you notice this has like 2 cutoffs, 2 and -1. We didn't see that before. So in the next video, I'll show you how to handle that.